Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ASUS ROG DreamLeague Season 3. My name's Odie Pixel. I'm here, of course, with Draskell, and we're ready to go into the first series of the day. Team Tinker up against Scaryfacez. We're well into the draft, and so should you. So let's get ourselves over to the picks and bans. And Draskell, what is going down so far?
Everything so far looks pretty normal, except for maybe the tree ban. And usually you see that when you want to see stuff like Storm, I guess, from the team, who obviously bans it out. And Team Tinker, they started things off with a Night Stalker, a hero that we've seen on and off, but it hasn't really had as quite a high priority as we're seeing it here from Team Tinker. And they also have gotten themselves a Queen, whereas Scaryfacez, they just get their hands on ASUS, and they'll be taking their second pick now. So more or less everything's standard. Maybe just the order in which it's picked has been a tiny bit different, but I think a lot of that just has to do with the fact that every team has their own preference, and whatever Team Tinker is doing, they already want to try to control because they have an NS and a Queen.
Absolutely. I mean, Night Stalker, as you said, a hero that we're seeing more and more of recently, and it does seem to be picked up in these situations where it kind of feels like, you know, the team, they feel very confident going into the matchup. They feel that they can take the early aggression, and it's going to go positively for them. I mean, Night Stalker is one of those heroes that, I guess, a little bit akin to the Spirit Breaker. If it doesn't start off great, you're going to find yourself on the back foot.
Well, Night Stalker, yeah, he's a snowball hero. I mean, for most intents and purposes. Some teams like running him as offlane nowadays. I've even seen like support Night Stalker as well, which the jury is still out for me if I actually think it's good.
Okay.
But I think in some situations, it's about the vision impairment that makes the hero very strong. So when you pop your ulti, you lose vision. On top of that, you also have a great silence that's also 5 seconds at level 1, as long as it's nighttime, which is really powerful for any kind of support to have that kind of potential. And his mana cost to damage ratio on his Void is very high. So like it's an efficient nuke to be able to spam all the time, and you can kind of just walk in and out of team fights and be a general nuisance. So I think it has its place. And given what Scaryfacez have picked right now, they take Zeus and Beastmaster. So two heroes that self-sufficient laners, like Zeus can lane against pretty much anything, can also be used as support if you want to run it in that role. And with the Beastmaster pickup, I'm kind of leaning towards not necessarily a full-on global strategy, but definitely something with a lot of vision and being able to control as well. So it's like two ways of the same kind of play.
I mean, with the Zeus and the Beastmaster picked up against the Queen of Pain, which I guess we can expect to probably most likely be the mid lane Queen of Pain.
It could be.
We see Beastmaster played in the mid lane, most notably by Rise. Recently, he's been picking it up a lot with basically Unknown. Who do you put against the Quap? I mean, is the Zeus really good against the Queen, or could you lane the
Zeus is a much better matchup against the Queen. The Beastmaster will get smashed.
Okay.
Like by
so you wouldn't.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying, but Queen has decent base armor to play against the boars, so it's not going to do that much. Whereas Zeus can sit far enough away to the point where you're never going to really be harassed. And if the Queen wants to commit, she has to blink in. And against the Zeus at higher levels, the burst damage is pretty crazy. And we don't even know what supports Scaryfacez or even Team Tinker are going to be running for sure as of yet. So all things considered with the bans, so Juggernaut and Mag both taken out by Team Tinker as their strategy right now. Like, they can't do anything to Jug with their heroes. That's kind of a problem. And taking out Mag just means that they're probably assuming that this is not going to be a Zeus mid if they ban Mag, because Mag offlane is not that common anymore.
It really isn't. No, I mean, all the times. I don't think we've seen a single Mag offlane game in DreamLeague, at least this season, no. But there was a period, as you said, where Magnus was often picked for that offlane position. Now, third pick for Team Tinkerino. I mean, so you said you're kind of still out on opinion-wise yourself on the Night Stalker offlane. Do you think this is going to be the NS offlane, or do you think it's more likely they will run it as kind of part of a tri-lane?
I believe it's going to be an offlane now after having seen the Lina pickup. Lina's support has been very prevalent because of the transition that it makes into the mid-game, having that potential to become semi-carry. And when you already have a very strong laner and Queen, she doesn't do poorly against anything really but Sniper, of course, which was banned out in the first ban phase from Team Tinker anyway. And Lina pairs well with almost any safe lane hero just because she's 670 base attack range and has great lane presence in general. So Team Tinker definitely coming into this with a very, very strong laning phase. And Scaryfacez, they are going with a vision strat. So the Slark-Zeus combination is something that, I can't remember who did it first, but I believe it was actually on ASUS ROG DreamLeague that we saw it.
Yeah.
Essentially, the way you use it is, the Slark has his ulti, right, which can scout out wards on the map anywhere, and the Zeus just dewards them for free. So you just use the Zeus as your sentry ward, basically, and you just go around and you restrict all the map control and vision from the enemy team. And with heroes like Queen and Night Stalker, who benefit greatly from having that vision because you want to play semi-aggressive, I think that this style that Scaryfacez is running can match up fairly well, because you're going to have Hawk, you're going to have natural dewarding coming out from the Slark, could be quite a potent combo to deal with.
I mean, seeing as that kind of obviously synergy and strats come up, do you think that then tells us where the Zeus is going to be, or like does it mean that the Zeus is going to be more of a support role, or will he still be the mid laner?
He could still be mid, and they could just offlane Beastmaster and try to stack Ancients. But I feel like if they see the Beastmaster go bottom, they'll just ward the Ancients, because it's pretty typical for people to just be like, yeah, okay, we'll just ward it. But if they put the Beastmaster mid, they could run Zeus support with the Slark. If they're expecting an offlane Night Stalker, that lane's good enough. Like a Zeus can actually harass fairly well, but you're going to have to buy quite a bit of regen to make sure that you can stay consistent in your arc spam. So again, the thing about this patch is everything is flexible. You can change up what you want to do in the last 2 picks, which is why it's so hard to theorize around like 100% what the lanes are going to be during the drafting phase. But I do feel like both teams are running fairly solid lineups so far. Here's the blue cat face man of the hour. Everybody seems to be picking him now, whether it be in a core position or a support or offlane. Just seems like people are really valuing the capability of just being very fast, very tanky, and being able to take away vision from your opponent.
I mean, talking about the Night Stalker, it was, well, we're seeing Shadow Fiend picked up, so that's probably going to be the mid laner, so I guess it's kind of opting towards a Queen of Pain off lane, and then the Night Stalker in the support role with the Lina, kind of a support dual combination. I mean, this is a bit of a mix-up now.
It could be, yeah.
What are you reading from this?
I think you're probably right with the off-lane Queen.
Because, I mean, SF safe lane, we never see that. Is there a reason
It could just be Lina's safe lane.
Yeah. Yes, it could be.
It could be Lina's safe lane. Queen's safe lane is good in situations where you want to go aggro, like you want to stop the enemy safe lane from farming.
Yeah, so could you go aggro with the Lina and Night Stalker in lane together?
You could, given what Scaryfacez has right now. You could just buy a stick, and if it's actually Zeus support, and it ends up being that, and it's just a Slark safe lane. Slark is a very weak safe laner. That's why you also don't see him mid anymore, because his Q spam actually hurts him, and a lot of people max him out to try to get farm. So you're basically a melee hero with your only form of damage being also initiation and pounce. So you have to like commit fully, and against a stun and a void, it could be pretty scary to do that. But a lot of teams, even given the opportunity to go aggro, and as Radiant, again, going aggro is a lot easier because you can pull, but it's still a bit risky. And I feel like if you just put Lina safe lane, Queen off, the Queen will never, well, might die now as Disruptor is picked up. So that is very scary. One hero who can isolate even a 1300 range blink as long as you're in a good position. Actually, how long is Glimpse at level 1? It's only 600. Okay, so you actually need level 3 Glimpse to be able to glimpse Queen now, which is important to note, because normally against any offlaner like Wind Ranger back when she was picked a lot, you could glimpse her back after the Wind Run and get 100% kill. But now, even with a level 1 blink, you can out of range level 2 glimpse, which means the Disruptor has to be level 5 minimum to actually glimpse you after the blink. So that's huge. Normally I would say this pick should actually do a lot of work against the Queen offlane, if it ends up being the case. But now, you can just outblink the glimpse, which is before her blink range was like 800 or 900, I think, at that level, and then it scaled to either 1050 or 1100, and now it's even farther than that. So instead of needing only level 2 glimpse, which is level 3, a lot easier to attain, now you need to be level 5.
I mean, I was talking about the control there coming out from the side of Scaryfacez and saying it's not really there for the Queen of Pain, at least until the latter levels for Disruptor. Looking on the other side, do you feel that Team Tinkerino have enough control for the Slark?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think having just the AoE and the very long silence from the NS is really key here. What a lot of people do with the NS, even as support, is they just eventually go for the Aghanims and gem, and they just run around. So Slark has a complete terrible time against that kind of lineup where you just have permanent vision. Think of the same thing as Bloodseeker vision before they nerfed them, where you were just below 50%, and then it just made it a nightmare to try to do anything against. But last pick here from Team Tinker is going to be Bristleback. All right, so they have 2 very beefy heroes. It's definitely Night Stalker support, no doubt about that. They could actually still go aggro, I feel, with these heroes, just because it would be an awkward lane, but it's okay to have a melee farmer versus a melee farmer. And having something like that, like Night Stalker and Bristle in lane, when you have 2 low damage dealing supports at early level, like Zeus does damage later, but if they're running him as a support, he's not going to be able to spam a Night Stalker and a Bristle out of lane. There's no way. He's just not going to have the damage. So we'll see what Team Tinker do. They could also go for dual lanes if they want to just be more level greedy and just put the Bristle back, perhaps with the Lina and the Queen with the Night Stalker. We'll see what they do though. But Qualifier playing it, so probably be Shadow Fiend. Are they going to put him mid? I don't know. We'll see. hard to gauge.
It is at the moment, yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what Tinkerino do run. But looking at the Bristleback pick, obviously against the Slark for the earlier portions, it's a bit of a nightmare for the Slark.
Oh, it's terrible for him.
It's not a nice hero to lane up against. Final pick for the side of Scaryfacez. They're going to go with the Wind Ranger. So it's going to be State 21 playing that. So it looks to be, I guess, the solo offlane Wind Ranger.
It could be,
or the mid Wind Ranger and the offlane Beastmaster. I guess they've got that option as well. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are into the match now. First match of the first best of 3 of the day. Team Areno Tinkerino up against Scaryfacez. We're here at the DreamLeague ASUS ROG Season 3. I'm ODPixel. I'm here with Draskell. Over on the side of the dial today, SFC, we've got Shadowware. He's going to be on the support Disruptor. State 21 will be on that Wind Ranger. It's going to be Eknar on the Zeus. It's going to be Quista on the carry Slark. And that leaves, by the looks of it, Ramses. Yeah, he's got the ward. He's going down to the bottom lane. He will be on that solo offlane Beastmaster. Draskell, what are we seeing from the Radiant?
All right, here. So we got Black. He's going to be playing on that Shadow Fiend Pylai Die. He's going to be handling the Lina. Down to the south here, we got Quakefa. He's going to be playing the Queen of Pain. Up here at the river, I believe that's Bulba. He's going to be playing on Bristleback. And then finally, Way2 is going to be playing Z Support Night Stalker.
Okay, so it looks like coming out from the side of the Radiant, it's more of a dual lane affair. I mean, we've seen the kind of dual lanes are really coming back into popularity. I mean, what's up with that, Draskell?
They're picking a lot of experienced, greedy heroes. For example, like Lina wants 6, right? Night Stalker, if you're running him as a support, you definitely want to try to get levels, because if you can get an early 7 even, just having boots, max level Void, it's a 335 damage nuke for only 110 mana. When I was talking about efficiency and how much damage the ability does, his level scaling is fantastic. So you really, really want him to be up there. And not only that, but you get the extra point into darkness as well, which restricts vision to 675 no matter who you are, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it also works against wards, any creeps that you have as well. So Beastmaster Hawk will also have its vision impaired. Can be very strong against what Scaryfacez have.
Okay, so we see in the mid lane, Night Stalker got the block off there for Black on the SF. And it's going to give him, it's going to even out the lane at least, as did allow Black to go and claim that bounty rune from the bottom lane. Did go straight away for the Wraith Band to help him CS against this Wind Ranger and work his way towards the bottle. So, I mean, looking at the two teams, something that's always a good talking point at the start of the game, who's trying to end it first, and is it definitely Team Tinker with the Night Stalker in your eyes?
Absolutely. Yeah. Team Tinker want to be aggressive, and you can see the early smoke here. They're going to look for the Zeus, but I don't know if they can kill with just the 2 of them.
They get the slow there with the Void. Pylai Die has got the Light Strike Array, but he's just going to be a little bit short there, a little bit too ambitious. They can't quite close the gap between himself and the Zeus. And it looks like, I imagine, these 2 supports are going to hang around in this lane. But I guess, yeah, as with any aggressive tri lane, they do need to try to find action.
There's going to be stick gaming going on in this lane, I can tell you that much. If it stays stagnant and they just end up having a 3 versus 3, the team who gets Magic Stick first wins. Because against Zeus and a Bristleback on the other side, it's probably the single most valuable item you can have in this lane at all. I don't know if Scaryfacez are going to be happy with this exchange though, because their heroes need experience maybe even more so than what Team Tinkers do.
Okay, so looking at the other lanes, on the bottom lane, you've got this Beastmaster against the Quap. I mean, we're talking about that initially in the drafts as if it was in the mid lane. I guess being down here doesn't really make any difference between the interaction of these heroes. Queen of Pain should win the lane.
Absolutely. No way that Beastmaster is going to be able to beat a Queen one-on-one. And middle lane, Wind Ranger can outplay in the early phases and just try to harass a lot with Power Shot. But the Shadow Fiend will eventually pull ahead, and when that happens, there's no coming back. You just won't be able to outfarm him anymore.
Slark going down to the low ground there was trying to make a go onto Pylai Die. He does get Thunderstricken as well. Damage isn't going to be there to bring her down, though. She's going to be able to get herself out. And indeed, yeah, as you're saying in the mid lane, CS-wise, Black certainly taking the advantage here on the SF. I mean, the Wind Ranger, it seemed to have fallen out of popularity a little bit, but we do sometimes see teams pick it up in the mid lane. I mean, why did you pick this hero? What is it that she offers for your lineup?
She's just a stable laner. She does very well against a lot of matchups. Even Queen, she can do okay depending on play. It's kind of like one of those Puck versus Queen matchups where it's mostly about player skill that dictates who wins. And I think Wind Ranger, with the way that people are building her now, like the Aghanims into crit, she scales so well. Like her damage output, her capability of pushing towers. If the Shadow Fiend ever decides to just go try to farm the woods instead, she can take your tower down relatively quick, even in an early stage, just by having phase boots and a point into focus fire. So I think at all stages, she offers a good amount of damage. She just doesn't really have a guaranteed disable unless you have a setup for it, which I feel like is the problem that Scaryfacez is going to have, because until you have Roar, well, how do you set up a shackle? You just have to rely on the Wind Ranger playing very well.
Well, top lane, Light Strike Array will connect onto Slark, and Slark, well, he pounces forward, Bristleback will block it, and Slark's going to go down there. There's your first blood there for the side of the Radiant team. Tinkerino taking down Slark, and Slark not been having a great lane so far. 10 CS under his belt at the moment on this lane. It is the Bristleback leading with 15. So, I mean, already it's quite apparent that Scaryfacez are struggling in this safe lane situation. Do they, I mean, with the two supports as well, when this kind of pressure is being applied, can they really make rotations to look to gank someone like the Shadow Fiend, which ideally you need to be doing in the early game?
Rotations become very obvious when you're in a tri-lane versus tri-lane situation. As soon as the supports go missing, there's really only one or two places they could feasibly go, and you don't expect someone to TP to a safe lane to try to kill a Queen of Pain with the heroes that they have. As for the reasons we mentioned during the draft, is like if you blink away, you can't even glimpse at this level, like you need level 5 minimum. And that's a level 2 disruptor. He's holding onto his skill point. Almost 3. I don't think that there's a whole lot of ways that Scaryfacez are going to be able to kill anyone in this lane without a rotation from either the off lane or the middle.
Okay, indeed. I mean, this is a problem for Scaryfacez. I mean, they can't seem to secure the farm for Slark, and they're not going to be able to go and help out Wind Ranger in the mid lane and find the aggression against the Shadow Fiend. So in terms of this early game laning, going very well for Team Tinker, 4.5 minutes in. The fact that we are seeing those the high CSs in the game, all on the side of the Radiant at the moment. I mean, what is the plan for Scaryfacez? I guess on the plus side, Team Tinkerino, they are running an aggressive lineup. They've only killed one person 5 minutes in. It could have gone worse in terms of losing heroes, but the laning stage is not looking great, Draskell.
They just need to like deny experience and gold. They don't have to kill. Sure, they can if they find an opportunity, but the major thing to note here is, again, the Slark isn't farming anything, and Quap is 38 and 6 right now. Like, he is completely crushing, which is expected. But this Beastmaster is level 4, and Queen of Pain's almost level 7. That's a complete smashing. So the heroes that need to rotate to try to save this lane from Scaryfacez are also losing their respective lanes. Like, Black is 34 and 16. He has as many denies as this Wind Ranger has creep kills. It is not good right now for Scaryfacez, because this kind of snowball potential, when you have Bristleback to tank the front line with a Night Stalker, and then you have Shadow Fiend to deal your right-click damage, and Queen to be able to clean up in teamfights, I'm scared for the Scary team.
I mean, even, well, bottom lane, Qualifier gets himself a little bit low there, does manage to blink away, playing a little bit on the edge with the Beastmaster. Keeps himself safe. A little bit of a rotation coming in now from Wind Ranger. Thinking about going to the bottom lane, will be able to grab herself the rune, fill that bottle back up. Is she going to continue down here? She is. Oh, no, she's not. No, she doesn't want to go down yet. As there has been the TP back from Qualifier, heading back to base to top himself up. Mid lane, we're seeing the rotation from Night Stalker. We're still halfway through night time. He could certainly look to try and jump in on the Wind Ranger. It's going to be a hard one to go for, though, because she will probably get the Wind Run off, yeah.
Yeah, he needs level 3 if he was going to gank that, because he doesn't have silence yet. So he would probably go 1-1-1 if they went for that kill, because the Nighttime Void still slows for 4 seconds, which is more than enough time to land a double raise, and Black being level 7 would most likely result in a kill, but Way2 just didn't have the levels for it.
Top lane, looks like they're trying to go a little bit aggressive here again. Bristleback just forcing them back, and if we look at the net worth of the individual heroes, we're seeing, yeah, 3.2k on the Shadow Fiend, coming up to 3.2 on the Queen of Pain, and 2.9 on your Bristleback, and well, the highest lead farmer on the side of the Dire is the Wind Ranger in the mid, but seeing a 2.4k.
Massacred.
It's, I mean, we're in the quarterfinals, Draskell. We've come to expect some games to be a little bit like this, but I mean, is there anything that Scaryfacez can do in your... I mean, can they, when it comes to team fighting, do they have the edge?
Not really.
No.
Okay, so their team fight potential is strong on paper, but that also assumes that your laning phase goes well enough to even have some team fight. Oh my god, is this Courier gonna die too? Oh god, move the Courier. Move the Courier, they're panicking! They're panicking! Oh god.
The bottle on!
Yeah, the bottle, okay.
Okay, so Draskell, is this part of the comeback?
There's no bailout for that middle player. That's the real issue here. I mean, they're going to go on Sam top lane, but the Slark's actually just going to die.
I think he's one more Quill Spray. Look at the stacks.
He's 4 stack. He's too far, though.
Zeus might pay with his life, though. They're going to turn onto Eknar, run him down. Light Strike Array will connect. That is going to be another kill there for this aggressive tri-lane. 3-0, 8 minutes in. You've lost your Courier. You've lost your bottle. What do you do, Andy?
Panic. That's what I would be doing at this point. To be perfectly honest, though, there's nothing really that they can do. They have such a terrible laning phase on their hands right now. Like, look at the farm, like just in terms of last hits of the 3 cores on the side of Team Tinker. And then their middle player only having 26 CS as opposed to Black, who has 58 and still is almost keeping up with the total denies in terms of what State has in creep kills. And the only reason he's even able to pull ahead is because Black has decided to play more efficiently with his own farm, and instead of hard denying the waves, he's just spamming them out now, which shoves free CS into his face.
Top lane. The creeps are diving, and well, the Night Stalker, Bristleback, and Lina were looking to go as well, but they're going to let Slark live for the time being. Disruptor, he's headed down to the bottom lane. Now, maybe he can make a bit of a play here onto the quad, but as you were saying, he's only, what, level 4 on the Disruptor. He's only got the 2 points into the Glimpse, so he hasn't got that 3rd point, which is what he needs to be able to get the full range of the cast to catch the quad after she's blinked away. So, well, Beastmaster hiding in the sidelines. I guess they've got the Roar. Maybe with the Roar they can make some kind of play. But it's gonna... I'm pretty sure we're going to see TP reactions come straight in. Oh, okay. Quap blinking in aggressively. Maybe this is Qualifier throwing his life away. They do have the Thunderstrike and the Glimpse available if they want to try and get it. The Glimpse will be used onto the Night Stalker to send him back and out of the lane. Qualifier's going to continue to run, gets the ult out. The final punch from Beastmaster. They will find a kill. They did lose the Disruptor, though. And State 21 might be here with the cleanup crew. Might be able to find Pilot Die, but there's your Stick Gaming. Turns around with the Light Strike Array. The Windrun going to avoid the tower hits. And State 21, he turns to run, but it might be a little bit too late. Oh, he's going to keep himself alive with 9 HP. It ends up being a 1-for-1 trade there. So SFC, they do finally get themselves on the board, and they do kill the quad.
A kill is a kill, and I would be happy with that if you're Scaryfacez to even be able to get it. At what cost is the question, because Black just gets a tier 1 tower for free. And that's what happens when you leave your lane against a Shadow Fiend. Is Black already has his treads up and his Aquila and 2,000 gold. So if he wants to go for a mech, which I'm assuming is going to be the choice here, because given Team Tinker's laning phase has gone so well, mech transitions them into a great mid-game where they can just 5-man and mow down towers and feasibly go for Roshan and just try to go for a quick high ground. It looks to be on schedule for what they want to try. And Quakefa is about halfway to his Orchid at this point, and Ramsey only has a medallion. I mean, the difference in farm is ridiculous for this early stage. I don't think we've seen such a one-sided early game so far in this entire tournament.
I mean, Black on the Shadow Fiend, he has more net worth than the Wind Ranger mid and the Beastmaster solo lane at the moment. So there's quite a difference there. And as you said, the mech now 10 minutes in, level 11 on Black as well. I mean, SFC, there's a lot of things to be worried about. Who have you got to be most worried about? Who are they going to be looking to try and kill, at least at this point?
Killing Black would be the dream. He's the one who is probably the easiest to kill. Unless he has a full item on the courier right now, which is the mech. Okay, so never mind. So much for killing him. You tried your best. That would have been ideal. If you can maybe catch out Quakefa with a Roar, he's probably one of the only other ones that you're going to be able to find out of position. Killing a support Night Stalker is okay, but he's still pretty beefy. Like, he's probably harder to kill than Quakefa if Quakefa's not able to get a blink off. And then you have Pilot Die, who is probably the easiest target of everyone. And killing a support is still okay because the rubber band effect is quite strong, but here comes the dive.
Here comes Black. He's got no mercy, but there's going to be the pounce away from Slark. Slark's still not level 6, so he's going to have
level 5.
He's got a poor man's shield, though. Very apt as well for the situation that he is in. There's a difference of 12,000 in terms of net worth, and we're before the 12-minute mark. It's coming up to 7.5k XP difference as well for 12 minutes in Draskell. I mean, but that's not ideal.
That's why I said they can't do anything, because their lanes are actually so bad that they are getting completely handled before a single real engagement happens. And when you have a situation like that, you have to rely on the enemy just getting overconfident and trying to dive and go for some crazy, like, diving tier 3s at 12 minutes into the game just so your towers can kill them instead of you, because you won't have the damage. You have a level 4 Zeus. What is he supposed to do? You need to land multiple 2-hero shackles, and you need to bait them into diving you. That is the only feasible way to kill. And even that, there's no guarantees because Black has mech.
There we go, pouncing away. Windwalker. Well, yeah, walking away as well. She's not got a lot on her, just the phase boost at the moment, 12 minutes in. And oh, she's got the bottle. We've got to give them credit where credit's due. We've not got to discredit the 2 branches as well, you know. And the null tally. She's been doing okay. But okay is potentially a little bit of an overstatement. Mid lane, Looking for the tier 2 now as well, Team Tinkerina. We're 13 minutes in. They've cleared out the tier 1 and the tier 2 on the top lane. They're about to clear out the tier 2 in the mid lane as well. Here's the rotation though from Ramses. Maybe this is what they need. Beastmaster, can he make the play? He's got the Roar available. They're already though, they're Laguna blading onto the Wind Ranger. She's going to try and win run away, but the Quill Spray is going to go straight through that. One more should do the job. Pink Panda, he's diving with the Void. Oh, he backs out. It wasn't enough damage. There he goes. One more final slap there to the backside of the Ginger Maiden. And oh, well, they've lost the Night Stalker. In fact, he dove a little bit too far. They're going to lose Bristleback as well. This is pretty good. Oh, Slark, he walks into a Requiem and a Shockwave. Triple kill for Qualifier. 4 heroes down on SFC. Yep. GG is going to be called 13 and a half minutes.
You know what? They called it at 13:37 in game.
They did.
They did.
Elite. Absolutely. And, well, SFC, I mean, you've got to hand it to Team Tinker. Cloud9, it took them 3 hours and 20 minutes to beat this team. Team Tinker, well, no, actually, no, it took them 3 hours, 20 minutes to lose to the team.
Yeah, I was going to say, they didn't win that game.
They didn't win that game. Team Tinker, they take them down in 13 minutes.
It was ugly. It was just completely ugly.
Welcome to DreamLeague.
The Bristleback pick was really cool because they understood that it was going to be a support Disruptor, support Zeus, fairly weak. The biggest problem that they had was having a Slark safe lane farming because it just got abused so badly. You look at support Night Stalker and you say, what are the weaknesses of the hero? Well, he's not a great laner in the traditional sense, but if you're against another lane that is equally as weak and you have good burst, you can just stop the other safe laner from farming because you can't focus a Bristleback who starts with like a shield, a wand against the Zeus lane. So every time you harass, you're just giving the Bristleback the potential to deal more damage through stick charges and just spamming quills. And since the other supports didn't have stick until later, they ended up giving up first blood. It's like, okay, well, all of a sudden, your Shadow Fiend, or your Wind Ranger is getting owned by Shadow Fiend. Your Slark is farming nothing. And then you have a Queen versus Beastmaster matchup when the Beastmaster is in his off lane. Those lanes were terrible. Like, they were so bad.
So are you saying, is it down to the draft or player ability in this one?
Oh, it's definitely down to the lanes.
Okay.
Like 100%. Their lanes could not do anything.
So the player ability, it's okay?
Even a good team would have had a hard time winning that laning phase. Okay? Because like this Wind Ranger has to outplay the Shadow Fiend to win, right? And what happens? He gets ganked by Way2, loses his bottle on the courier. Against Shadow Fiend, that is an instant lane loss. Instant. Like you are not coming back from that because you're not going to ever be able to catch up on damage. So he has like Necromastery maxed out. He's raising the waves, he's farming his jungle. What are you doing? Waiting for your courier to respawn with your bottle on it because you can't get it. And then he gets all the runes because he gets the spam and you run out of mana because you don't have a bottle. And then with rune control, he has infinite mana. Oh, and by the way, he has a Night Stalker who can actually roam because even when it's a 2v3 top, your safe lane still can't kill the Bristleback. So yeah, I would say it was, no matter what, the team would have had a hard time. Like anybody playing those heroes in this lane matchup would have struggled.
Well, of course, it is a best of 3, so we'll see if the side of SFC are able to bring something a little bit stronger to the board in the next game. But that is it for Game 1 from myself and Draskell. Now we're going to send you over to our experts over on the panel. We'll see you guys in a minute for Game 2.